Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel for everything Arsenal and everything football. Thanks for being here. I hope you're all doing well. And welcome to another Under 23s review, different one this time round. We are here. I'm here with a guest. So we'll be talking a little about yesterday's game where we lost to, drew with Everton 1-1 away from home. It was basically at the same time with the first team's game, so we didn't really do the reactions yesterday. And we're going to be going through the form this year in 2021, what has happened since the team came back from the Christmas break. What's wrong with the team? Haven't won a game since January, so what's going on? And I have an expert of the under-23s football, Thomas from Arsenal Fan Reviews. How are you?
Yeah, I'm great. I mean, not so much watching the academy games, but in general, I'm doing okay. How are you?
I'm doing good. I mean, we've really been through it this year with Arsenal. Arsenal women under Arsenal under 23s, Arsenal first team, like all of them have been losing so many games and it's been terrible. But hey, we're just going to see. Let's try and solve it for them. Let's hope Steve Bold watches this and let's solve it for them. So yesterday we drew with Everton under 23s 1-1. I'll go through the lineup as usual first. So let me put it on screen. It was a kind of usual lineup, but different. So in goal, we had Smith. Usually it's Okonkwo or KJ Hine. So Okonkwo was called up to the first team on Thursday, so he couldn't make this game. So I'm happy with that. I think Thomas says this name better than me. Alebiosu was there. Oyegoke, Dinzeyi, Bola, Lopez, Akinola, Henry Francis. Haven't seen him this season. Lewis, Balogun, and Coyle. And then on the bench, Graczyk, Foran, or Jeffcott and Ideho. So those that was our starting lineup against Everton. A lot of changes from even the last game. Last game out, we had Nelson, we had Nketiah, we had those kind of players. What do you make of the changes we've been making in the team, Thomas? Like a lot of changes every single week. This week it's Aziz, this week it's Coyle, this week it's Balogun, this week it's Nketiah. So many changes. Do you think that could be the cause of the poor form?
Well, I think that's probably got a lot to play a part. I mean, over the past couple of months, really, I have been, like you said, seeing a lot of changes in that. And the other week, when we did see, like you said, Nketiah and Nelson and Balogun, I honestly think that Steve Bold just kind of gave up. He knew he knows he's going to lose the job, so he just thought, why not just throw everything out there? Because that team, it was ridiculous. I mean, they were all attackers, maybe one defender, one natural midfielder, and everyone else was just up front. And I mean, it's good that we are starting to see Balogun back in the team. Maybe like you've got up there George Lewis. It's good to see him because he hasn't really featured a lot with injury. Akinola is looking very good, but I just don't think that Bold knows his best team, and we're just trying to play around with it now, see what works.
I do agree with you. So many changes every single week. I never see a consistent team. Like we complain about the first team, like this team, there's usually a lot of changes. I don't mind like giving different people chances. I don't mind that. But I've seen Aziz in the under 18s. I think he's been pushed back to the under 18s. I think I saw 3 or 4 players being pushed back to the under 18s in the last game we played, where Aziz scored a spectacular game. And this is not the only bad result we've had this year. 1-1 draw. Now, let me take you back to 5 months ago when you played Everton under 23s at home, and just check out the difference in the lineup from that day to this. So that day we had a very experienced team playing against Everton. We had the likes of Chambers in the team, who's now balling in the first team. Socrates was there, Saliba was there, Smith was there. That shows you how quickly Smith was risen up, because this was only like in December. Balogun was on his squad. Sargent, Coyle, all of them are in the squad. Matt Messi in goal. So there are like 6 experienced players in that team. So do you think this is another reason why you're not doing good, Thomas? Do you think we had a lot of experienced players during our good run last year, and then all of a sudden all of them have left and we started like depending on the likes of Balogun?
Yeah, I think, again, that's another big part. I mean, you had that lineup up there. Half of them have left the club now. I mean, Socrates, Matt Messi, Saliba is out on loan. But I mean, that is 100% true. You're seeing Saliba in there, Socrates, maybe not the best defenders in the world, but up against some of the Everton under-23s team, it's not a fair level, really. And now we're just playing our usual under-23s team. It really has taken us back to reality in a way that, yes, we do have a very good academy, but not every single one of those players will make it I mean, I'm not trying to be harsh on them, but lots of them are not good enough, and we do need to start trying to readjust the team. But I mean, for sure, having those experienced players in there helped, because a 32-year-old against an 18-year-old, it's not really fair.
Yeah, it's not fair. It's definitely not fair. It's definitely not fair for the 32-year-old, because the 18-year-old is going to rip him apart for Socrates. But yeah, I get what you mean. So we'll now go through the results this year. Okay, let me go through the results last year first, when Smith Rowe was really doing good, because that was the last time we played Everton back in, I think, November, the end of November, start of December. So last year, 6th of November, we beat, let me just put the results on at the bottom as well, so that you can go on with me. Just a minute. So last year, around November, we beat Blackburn 6-0. Smith Rowe also played in that game, and he got a double. He was very good. We then beat Everton 1-0, as you can see. That was the game on screen where Smith Rowe scoring the winner. And then we beat Derby 3-1 at home. And then we beat Leicester 2-1 at home. And then we beat Brighton 5-0. Okay, 5-0 was after the Christmas break. So let's go according to those 4 fixtures first that I've mentioned: Blackburn, Everton, Derby, and Leicester. We won 4 games in a row, and then we had a Christmas break. And then when we came back after almost a month, we got another very, very good result. Balogun scored a hat-trick against Brighton. We won 5-0. But then after that, it has been terrible. So what did you make of those 5 games, Thomas, where we were winning and winning and winning?
I mean, it was absolutely brilliant. I remember going out in the rain and whatever the weather was to the Academy Stadium, to Meadow Park, to film those videos. And in particular, I remember the 5-0 win, because that was absolutely brilliant. And we seeing Balogun scoring a hat-trick, and then, of course, it's just kind of gone downhill for him, especially then. I mean, one of the goals was absolutely wonderful in that game, where he ran through the whole defence. And, of course, we had that saga where he posted it as soon as we had lost to Southampton in the Cup. And it's just all kind of broken down. I mean, it was lovely, those 5 games. I mean, you could just sit back, relax. And even though we weren't doing too well as a first team, you could always look down and see that we had a bright future.
Yes, so this year we've played 9 games since January. We've only won once, and that is the game Thomas was just talking about, where we beat Brighton 5-0. We've drawn 4 and we've lost 4. So this year we started by beating Brighton 5-0. We then we had a very tough run. We had to go away to Tottenham. We drew 1-1, and then after a week we had to play Chelsea, drew 2-2, which I didn't mind playing those games, especially the Chelsea game where we came from behind. You had that game as well, Arsenal fan reviews. What did you make of that? 2-2 against Chelsea.
Yeah, I mean, like the first team the other day against West Ham, it was great to see some fight coming back. But then again, when you're at home, should you really be 2-0 down in the first place? But I mean, it's good to see that we can make a comeback from that, and we still do have fight.
Yeah, and then we were blitzed by United 3-0, and then we lost to City 2-0 at home. Now, when we lost to City 2-0, that same week we lost to City 2-0 or 1-0 as well in the Premier League. It was in the same week. We lost to Liverpool 4-0. That was a terrible day. Southampton 2-2. We threw away a 2-goal lead, and then we lost to Blackburn 3-0. Remember, early on, as you can see on the screen, we did beat Blackburn 6-0. We beat Blackburn 6-0 last year, and then they came to our place and beat us 3-0. And then we finally last week or yesterday we drew with Everton 1-1. So for all those games, which one do you think was the most hurtful one? Like the worst result of them all?
The most hurtful one, well, in terms of how it felt just watching on as an Arsenal fan, I know it's not a popular opinion, but I'd have to say the United one, because a lot of decisions weren't going our way in that game. There was a penalty given away, which shouldn't have been a penalty, or even if it was a penalty, the player Oyegoke should not have got a red card. And of course, it was reinstated after that game was played, and he was available for the next one. So in terms of decisions and everything, that was the most hurtful. But in terms of how we played, I'd say the Southampton one, actually, because a 2-0 lead to 2-2. I mean, I thought we were back for a minute and then came crashing down again.
Yeah, that was terrible. And that's not the only penalty we've given away. I'm pretty sure we gave away penalties to Liverpool. We gave away a penalty to Southampton. I think this year alone we've given away like 5 penalties and we've picked up like 2 or 3 red cards. So not the best of disciplinary records. As you can see, again, we've only scored 11 goals and conceded 18. So what needs to be done? Because we now have an international break. We've not won in 8 games. Like, we didn't win. We didn't win against Tottenham, Chelsea, United, City, Liverpool, Southampton, Blackburn, and now Everton. 8 games in a row, no win. Dropping in the table. So what needs to be done now? Is it Steve Bold? Is it the problem? Is it the rotating of the squad too much?
Yeah, well, I mean, the list of games you did just go over then, I mean, by the sounds of it, they were very hard games. And looking at the table, you know, in terms of where those teams are, they were always going to be hard. But then again, we should not be getting battered by them. And now we're only a point or 2 off of relegation, which is something we should be nowhere near. I honestly, unfortunately as well, think it's time for the manager to go. I mean, I really do love him at first, and I loved him, as, of course, as a player at Arsenal. But yeah, as a coach, it's just not really worked out for him. And I'd bring in, I don't know, maybe even Thierry Henry if he's looking for a job, because he knows what it's like to grow up as a player at Arsenal. And I don't think that's a bad idea. But for me, the manager has to go now. It's been too long.
Yeah, I remember after we beat Brighton 5-0 after that 5-game winning streak, I think we were like 5th or 6th. Like, I was looking up the table, I was starting to look at City and those kind of teams. I think we were like 4-5 points behind top 3, and it was starting to look positive. But since then, as you said, we are really struggling down the bottom. The last team on the table is Southampton with 16 points. They have a game in hand. Leicester 11th, 17 points. They have a game in hand. And we have 21 points and we are 10th and we don't have a game in hand. So if they all win their games in hand, you're absolutely right, 2 points off 12th. So that would be good. And this is a Southampton team that we lost or 3 away 2 points against the other week. So it's not really, really looking good. So which position do you think you can finish? Do you think you can pick it up? And who do you want to see in the lineup from the next few games? And we have Derby coming up.
Yeah, well, in terms of can we pick any points up? Well, we do not have that many games left. I believe we've got about 4 games left now or so.
Yeah. Derby, Leicester, West Ham, yeah.
Yeah, so 3 games. So
4 games. West Ham twice.
Oh, okay. Yeah, all right. Yeah, in terms of where we can finish, I'm going to say this with my heart. I don't think we will get relegated. I think we will manage to stay at least in the top sort of 10 or top 9, but it's not looking good. I mean, in terms of a lineup, well, I'd love to see Okonkwo back in goal. It is a shame that he has to be dropped down from the first team, I guess, again. But he is an incredible goalkeeper, and that is one thing that's good out of this kind of academy setup. I'd like to see Balogun carry on playing. He got the 1 goal for us the other day against Everton, so good to see him back on the score sheet after that injury. Whether he leaves or not, though, that is another question. But, of course, we do have some other strikers in the team. We've got Nicolas Mola. He looks very good, although he's another one, I believe, who's out with an injury. So we are very packed with injuries. I think Oyegoke and Alebiosu, they both do look quite good. I mean, who else have we got really to replace them in their positions? Akinola, I'd like to see him carry on in the midfield. He's very, very good. Can't wait for him in a couple of years to hopefully try and break through. Same with Miguel Aziz. He's another one who is just absolutely amazing. His goal the other day as well. But, yeah, I mean, it's a tough one. But Steve Bold, he needs to try and figure something out in terms of a lineup because, like you said, it's chop and change every week.
Yeah, I think you could be right. In fact, I think we have like 2 or 3 games remaining. I think the West Ham one is not a league game. So for me, Patino's really good since he joined. He's been really good, but he's been playing 1 game and then not there for 2. Then he's scored in 1.
Injured, isn't he, at the moment?
Yeah, he even played for the FA Youth Trophy or something like that. Yeah, for the under 21s and 18s. So I'm really hoping we pick it up because it's been terrible. 9 games without a win. People calling for Steve Ball's head. People calling for Arteta's head. So let's hope the team picks it up after the international break. Thomas, thank you for coming on. Where can they follow you?
It's Arsenal Fan Reviews on YouTube and the Football Shirt Show also on YouTube. And of course, thank you so much for having me on.
No problem. I thank everyone for watching. Let me know if you'd want more of this U23s updates. I think I've been doing it for like 3-4 months now, and same with Arsenal Fan Reviews. I'll leave a link in the description, the first link in the description. Thank you for watching. Keep staying safe, and I'll catch up with you guys later.